All right. The second kind of approach is broadening the evidentialist approach, right? So they tell us that given the nature of evidentialist approach to apologetics, this particular approach may be the easiest one for all the rest to be integrated with.
Sure.
Is what they suggest here. Since evidentialists tend to favor a multi-pronged or cumulative case argument for Christianity, incorporating the arguments from the other three approaches is for the evidentialists, they tell us, a largely matter of just adding to their repertoire. All right. For instance, evidentialists should have no trouble acknowledging that for some people, at least, certain evidence-based arguments work better once a case for theism has been made. Right. And so notice they've kind of incorporated then the classic approach there with the evidentialist approach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could even ask the person, like, hey, let's just give me the benefit that a God exists, and then let's look at these specific evidences to figure out who this God is. And so, again, maybe they'll grant you that for the sake of argument, and then be able to have these discussions and say, is evil even possible with this type of God? Let's look at elements of that. Let's look at miracles, something along those lines where it says, okay, let's assume God exists. Could he part the Red Sea? And so you can have that discussion within there. But you can always remember to back up and say, hey, there needs to be a basis for the existence of God and those things. All right. Well, also, there's nothing to prevent evidentialists from agreeing with Plantinga that evidence is not needed for belief in God because it is properly basic. And I think that was one of the main things that Plantinga wanted to do and tends to bring out. And the lavish praise that someone like William Lane Craig, not an evidentialist per se, but classicalist, heaps on Plantinga. So someone like William Lane Craig definitely respects Plantinga's properly basic understanding here. So Plantinga as evidence that evidence is not needed for belief in God because it's properly basic, and then turning around and presenting such evidence for those who have not yet recognized the fact. So that's what evidentialists can do.
Right. So notice there, even though you claim that evidence isn't needed because, belief in God is properly basic,
right?
That doesn't prevent you from providing evidence, right? Is the point that they're trying to make.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I'm not going to talk to you about evidence at all because, well, no, you can still do it is what they're saying, right?
Right.
Even though, you can help them to see that it's belief in God is properly basic.
Right. Right. So don't worry, even presuppositionalists can do it. They can they can say properly basic and also write the Kalam argument for you out on a napkin. Well, evidentialists can also agree with presuppositionalists in Van Til's line that God is the necessary presupposition of all evidence, fact, inference, and probability, and then turn around and offer evidential arguments in support of Christian belief.
Right. So same kind of move there, right? You can still. Exactly. Right. Use Van Til's approach, but then still give your evidence at the same time. One doesn't, rule out the other.
Yeah. And,
excuse me.
If you don't want to, I mean, everyone should be a presuppositionalist by now, obviously. But even if you didn't want to kind of put in the effort to fully understand that, if you understand where it's coming from and you realize that it offers a good argumentation, maybe that's something that you can refer to as something like, well, all evidence is grounded in the fact that God exists, but also going from there as a way of saying there are other answers, and even be honest and say, but I can't fully explain it to you because there are better people out there that can have those understandings, like trying to explain the one and the many. I kind of understand it, but also I'm going to refer you to about two different books that do a way better job than I can even muddle my way through understanding that.
Yeah.